You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN E-mini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borg. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Monday, 20th day of November, 2023. It's going to be a short week. We got today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. Wednesday afternoon, there will be the Fed minutes, 2 p.m. Eastern. So that's going to make the remainder of Wednesday a bit messy as far as the trading day goes. And we have, of course, Thanksgiving on Thursday. Now the markets are going to be open a half day Friday, and there's some high impact news coming out Friday morning. But you'll kind of be on your own because we won't be open. Taking the 4-day weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But Sunday night we'll be back in the saddle, and then next week will be a complete week. So anyway, thanks for joining us. So glad to have you here. Whoever you are, wherever you are. This is our second live broadcast of the day. We do 2 broadcasts every trading day. The first one is a private broadcast. It's for members only and those who are taking their 1-week free trial. If you haven't taken your 1-week free trial, go to mytradingiq.com. And at the very top of the page, there's a link that says 5-day free trial. Click it, fill out the registration form properly so everything goes in the right slot, please. Then what will happen? Once you submit that registration form, in most cases, same day, we'll get your TradingView indicators turned on, get your desktop set up, and then the following trading day is when your trial will officially begin. So it doesn't matter what day of the week or weekend or hour of the day that you sign up. You'll get 5 consecutive trading days, even if it stretches over a weekend. And when you take the trial, you don't have just access to the live training room. You have access to every resource our lifetime members have access to for 5 trading days at no cost to you. No credit card required. We foot the bill. We invest our time, money, and resources in you so that 2 things can happen. You can figure out if trading's even right for you, and we can figure out if you just might be our next great trader. mytradingiq.com, top of the page. Now, when the live training room ends at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, take a 30-minute break and come back for this broadcast, the afternoon broadcast, which is open to the public. Everybody, everywhere, planet Earth. Now, there's 2 different ways to join this afternoon broadcast live. Here's the best way. Go to mytradingiq.com. Scroll down to where it says afternoon broadcast. Click the link. Complete the 30-second registration form, and you're done. You only have to do that once. What will happen going forward is every trading day, you'll get an email about an hour before the broadcast starts. In the email, there's a link. So at 12 noon Eastern, all you have to do is click the link in the email, and it will automatically log you into our platform. Now, that's beneficial to you because it gives you access to the chat box, or the question box, so that you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. Now, there'll be days when you're out of the office, away from the desktop, but you would still like to join live. Can. And there's going to be days when you're busy and you can't join live, but you want to check it out later. Again, you can. How does that happen? On our YouTube channel. It's easy to remember. youtube.com/CFRN. You already know the YouTube's part, so all you have to remember is CFRN. Not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, but we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there are over 2,300 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. So with that said, let's open with our daily devotional and a word of prayer. Now, our topic for almost 2 weeks has been hearing the voice of God. Tomorrow will be the final day on that topic. Today's scripture is Psalm 119, verse 18. Well, actually, I'm going to share with you from 17 through 24. And it is from the Message translation. Here's what it says. Be generous with me, and I'll live a full life. Not for a minute will I take my eyes off your road. Open my eyes so I can see what you show me of your miracle wonders. I'm a stranger in these parts. Give me clear directions. My soul is starved and hungry, ravenous, insatiable for your nourishing commands. And those who think they know so much, ignoring everything you tell them, let them have it. Don't let them mock and humiliate me. I've been careful to do just what you said. While bad neighbors maliciously gossip about me, I'm absorbed in pondering your wise counsel. Yes, your sayings on life are what give me delight. I listen to them as to a good neighbor. Open your eyes to God's vision. The Bible's filled with hundreds of examples of people getting God's vision, like Isaiah, Jeremiah, Daniel, Hosea, Jonah, Micah. Seeing God's vision for your life is not a crazy thing. God often uses a mental picture to clarify the next step He wants you to take. I don't have to explain this to many of you because you're visual thinkers. When you read a story in the Bible, you can see that story in vivid technicolor. When you read a book, You're picturing the story in your mind the whole time. But for the rest of us, it's a little harder. We're not all visual thinkers. Many of us tend to think in words, not pictures. So how do you get God's vision if you're not a visual thinker? Well, ask God a specific question. In your quiet time, after you've read the Bible and prayed, maybe you're just being quiet and waiting on God. You could ask, God, is there anything you want to say to me? And then you wait. God, is there anything I need to know that I'm not thinking about? And then you wait. In James 1:5, we learn, if any of you need wisdom, you should ask God, and it will be given to you. God is generous and won't correct you for asking. God wants you to ask Him for advice, and He wants you to be specific. He's waiting for you to ask. Second, look into God's Word to see what God might want to say to you. Psalm 119, verse 18 is a verse you should memorize. Open my eyes so that I may see the wonderful truths in your law. It's a good verse to pray as you open up God's Word. Every answer to every problem you have is in that book. But you got to read it, study it, memorize it, and meditate on it as you seek God's vision for your life, or even just for today. Join me in a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, as we approach you in prayer today, we're mindful of the wisdom you promise to those who seek it, as we just read in James 1:5. We acknowledge our need for your guidance, insight, and understanding in every aspect of our lives. Lord, we ask for wisdom that goes beyond human understanding. Grant us discernment as we navigate the complexities of life, and help us make decisions that align with your will and purpose for our lives. In moments of confusion, grant us clarity. In times of doubt, instill in us the assurance of your truth. May the wisdom we seek be rooted in your word and guided by your Holy Spirit. Lord, we recognize that true wisdom begins with the fear of the Lord. May our hearts be attuned to reverence and honor you in everything we do. As we seek wisdom, may our lives be a reflection of your character and a testimony to the transformative power of your guidance. Thank you, Lord, for the promise of wisdom to those who ask. May we be receptive to your leading and obedient to your teachings. It's in Jesus' name we believe and pray. And everybody said, amen. Amen. Happy Monday. Hope you had a nice weekend. Whoever you are, wherever you are, this Monday. Let me give you the numbers from around the world. Start here in the U.S. The cash markets, or the indices, as they're called. Currently, the Dow's up 126 points. NASDAQ's up 117, which is almost 1%. S&P 500 is up 21. The Russell 2000 up 7. The only real mover and shaker in that bunch would be the NQ. In the Asian markets at the close, the Nikkei dropped 197 points. Shanghai rose 14. The Hang Seng gained 323, which is almost 2%. In the European markets at the close, FTSE down 8, the DAX down 17, the CAC up 13. This is, I don't know, I think we're closing in on about a month of this very quiet sideways trade in the European markets. We had a mixed day today in Asia. Nikkei, the only one in the red. It was a mixed day in the UK. FTSE and DAX in the red, CAC in the green, but only by 13 points. But so far, it is a green Radio Monday here in the US of A, with all 4 of the major indices in the green. Now, I think we skipped the commodity basket. Let's do that real quick. Crude oil up $2.11. That's a gain, trading 78 bucks last. That's a gain of 2.75%. Gold down again, $7.70, trading 19.77 last. Silver down 28 cents, trading 23.56 last. Now for silver, that's a drop of almost 1.25%. So there you have it. Let's jump over to Logic 247. Where last week we started out with some crazy number, like 86% of the alerts being stopped out. Where was it? No, maybe it was 67. Okay. But then by the end of the week, we had it down to 19%. But here we are, starting off with another topsy-turvy Monday. This is valid as of 7 a.m. this morning. There have been additional alerts issued since then, and some of the waiting may have resolved themselves. So, 7 alerts issued since the markets opened last night at 6 p.m. Eastern. Now, a bunch more were added this morning after Valerie did the recap at 7 a.m. Eastern. So she'll update everything this afternoon, as she always does. At the time, we were still waiting on 4. We only had 3 actionable alerts. And 1 stopped down. 33%. We're in week 277 now. And over the last 277 weeks, we've issued over 15,400 individual handcrafted alerts. And we've averaged 20% or less of the alerts being stopped out based on market structure and a very simple method that I teach all of our passport holders in their unlimited one-on-one mentoring sessions. Now, the logic alerts are based on current price action, but there's time built into every alert so that you can get the alert, study the 30-minute chart, see the window of opportunity that it represents, and then be prepared to take action when price finally arrives at the window of opportunity, and then do exactly what Michael teaches you to do every morning in the live training room. Now, the purpose of the alerts, both the logic and the concierge alerts, it's not for you to just trade the. When you become a passport holder, I mean, it's your passport, I guess you can do whatever you want. But our purpose is not to sell you the passport so that you can just trade the alerts and never learn how to trade. We're looking for people who actually want to learn how to trade. Because once you actually learn how to trade, that's a very valuable life skill. And once learned, no one can ever take it away from you. And our strategy and our indicators are fluid across all markets, all time frames. Futures, stocks, crypto, forex, ETFs, doesn't matter. Price flows the same across all markets and all time frames. I don't mean the same tick for tick. I simply mean that when price finds resistance, it will reverse and go look for support. When it finds support, it will reverse and go look for resistance. And so a large part of what we teach you is where to expect that support, where to expect that resistance. But even then, we want the market to prove itself before we actually take action and enter a trade. A logic alert could come out at 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. Futures trade around the clock, and we have traders around the globe. Now, along with the logic alerts, we still have our original alert service, concierge trade alerts. They're different in a couple different ways. One, they're based on historic price action. When current price action meets historic price action, that's where you'll find some of your best high probability, low risk trade opportunities. And they don't come out around the clock. They're posted as a static report shortly after the Globex open. Now, I notified everyone yesterday that I had a celebration of life ceremony to attend. So typically on a Sunday night, I have them out by 6:30, but we were running a little late last night, 7:25. So when this report is published for members and trial members, the first thing you want to do is go to whatever markets you actually trade. And on the 30-minute chart, make note of where price is at the time the report is published. It will always be between those two numbers. Then, once you've noted where price is, draw a line in the sand at the long target, and then draw a line in the sand at the short target. They will serve as great visual cues to help you stay on the right side of the street. Beyond that, if price gets above the 30-minute BBC, that'll be the green line you see on my chart, stands for bull, bear, cross. Price crosses above it, we're bullish, we expect higher prices. Price crosses below it, we're bearish, we anticipate lower prices. BBC, bull, bear, cross. price gets below the 30-minute BVC, it's attempting to reach the short target. It's all pretty simple. Now, with the logic alerts, you'll see that there are multiple targets. There's always an initial target designed just to help you get your goal for the day. But there could be 2, 3, 4, 5, even more targets, all the way to the final trade to target. On every short logic alert, the final trade to target is the weekly zone below. Every long alert, the final trade to target is the weekly trading zone above. Now, on the logic alerts, I look left for you. I highlight the previous swing highs and swing lows. That's where you'll see potential support, or potential resistance, depending upon if it's a long or short trade. Now, what you do is you transfer that skill set you learn from the logic alerts to the CTAs so that you can look left yourself and know where potential obstacles are. Over time, you'll learn how price behaves at a weekly trading zone. Now, this is really, really important. Price is always trying to reach a weekly trading zone. From the moment the markets open Sunday night until they close Friday afternoon. Price is above the 30-minute BVC. Trying to get to the zone above. It's below the 30-minute BVC. It's trying to get to the zone below. We've published the zones since December 14th of 2009. They come out Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. This gives our traders plenty of time to get the new zones on their charts before Wall Street even wakes up for the week. Now, the alerts that I publish on Sunday night are based on last week's zones. Because again, the new zones don't come out till Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. So as we go over all these different markets today, you'll be looking at last week's zones. But on tomorrow's broadcast, you'll see this week's zones. Beyond that, you just need to resist the urge to make it more complicated than that. We've worked very hard for many years to make things as simple as they can possibly be. But there's something in every human brain that wants to complicate it. Oh, well, yeah, this looks pretty good, but if I add this and stir in a dab of that, yeah. There's nothing you can do or try that we haven't already done or tried. If you'll simply accept it as it is, most traders out there are just struggling, trying to find some rhyme or reason to the markets. Perhaps they've bought an indicator set from someone, and maybe it came with a PDF or even a couple cherry-picked videos. But that's not someone teaching you how to trade. And that's what we do. Bottom line, as long as you know which way the wind is blowing, it's pretty simple. Reach your goal for the day. And you might ask, well, how do I know which way the wind is blowing? The chart is always happy to tell you. It's the best source of information you can get. Now, Tom, I don't know if you're tuned in today, but you and I drew in this window of opportunity in our mentoring session last Friday. That was this day, Friday. Tom and I, we knew we had to take out this swing high, and then we knew we had potential resistance at this swing high. So that gave us a nice little window, basically 45.53 to 45.66, 67. So we're almost there, Tom. Now, we've touched it and we got a little bit of wick showing. Okay. See, guys, that's the importance. Now, I drew this window with Tom Friday afternoon. This was Thursday. This was Wednesday. Here's Tuesday. See, it was important that price get well above Tuesday's high before triggering into any kind of a trade. Now, I know most of you don't trade off a daily chart. But honestly, I don't either. I go to the daily chart to get information. Very important information. You see, on your tick chart or your range chart, you have no way of knowing that there's this incredibly major resistance looming overhead at 45.66. Because that happened way back on September 15th. So whatever market you trade, it may not be the S&P, maybe some other futures market, might be an individual stock, crypto, Forex, ETF. If you will simply spend 2 minutes with the daily chart of whatever it is you do trade, before you start trading, man, you'll have much better success with your trading business. Now, why is that? Because institutional traders, they're watching daily, weekly, and monthly charts. Why? Because of their incredible account size. You see, when the institutions place trade and the size that they place trades, that's what moves price. You and I, with 10 contracts or even 20 contracts, we don't really move price. It's those deep pockets, the institutions. And our strategy and our indicators are not designed to outsmart the institutions with their infinite resources or beat the market, whatever that means. Our strategy and our indicators are designed to help you see and understand why the institutions are doing what they're doing, what their objective is. And so all you have to do is do what they're doing long enough to get your goal for the day. And you're scratching your head and going, really? That easy? No, trading's not easy, but it can be simple. Now take a look at this candle. Yes, it's a daily candle, but I just want to make a point. It opened at 45.26 last night. Now we'll call it 45.27. And it's ran up to 45.50. So out of a 25-point run, how many opportunities were there to take 2 points? That's all you need, is 2 points a day. When you start out with one contract per the 24/20 blueprint, that's $100 a day. But once you've increased your account balance by $2,000, Blueprint's going to give you the green light to add a second contract. Now, the big difference is your first contract is funded with your startup capital. Your second contract is funded with profit you earned in the market. Blueprint's going to tell you when to add number 3, number 4, number 5, all the way up to number 20. Think of it like this. 2 points, 1 contract, $100. As you earn your way up the ladder to 5 contracts, those same 2 points are now worth $500 a day. As you continue to earn your way up the ladder, when you hit 10 contracts, those same 2 points that used to make you $100 a day, now they make you $1,000 a day. And that puts you in the top 3% of wage earners worldwide. Now, some will preach to you that getting more points is the answer. That's just not our philosophy. Because not every day gives you the opportunity to get lots of points. But there's never a day where the market doesn't give you multiple opportunities to capture at least 2 points a day. See, a lot of reason traders fail is because they have unrealistic expectations. Yeah, my goal is to take 10 points a day out of the S&P or 20 points a day out of the S&P. Well, does the S&P offer that some days? Sure. But how much simpler is it to just get 2 points? And once you've gotten really good at getting those 2 points, use those profits to add another contract. Trade at that level a while till the blueprint tells you to add another one. And you should never feel compelled to add additional contracts, even though the blueprint says you qualify. If you don't feel comfortable, there's no pressure. If you get to 3 contracts, maybe you're retired, maybe you already have, your pension, your Social Security, your retirement plan, whatever. You're just wanting to create some, walking around money for yourself. You might get to 3 contracts and go, man, I work an hour a day and make $300 a day. I didn't make that much before I retired. So the possibilities are limitless as long as you find someone to actually teach you how to trade and you learn aggressive risk management. Those 2 things can take you from 0 to hero pretty quick. Oh, let's see. We just had a question pop up over here. What does it say? Hi, everyone. I have an account with TV, but no subscription yet. What's your opinion, experience with TV? I'd like to know if it's worth it. Thank you in advance. Well, you know what? When Michael comes on, because I still use the DT Pro platform, so I'll point David or I'll point Michael to your question and have him give you his thoughts, because we've got the Black Friday sale going on TradingView right now. It's really a matter of how many screens you can have. 2 screens, 3 screens, 4 screens, how many indicators you can display. There's a few things that separate, but now is for everyone. If you haven't gotten your TradingView account yet, the Black Friday sale is on, and it's pretty good, as Gary had just typed in sooner. So, David, if I somehow forget to direct Michael to your question when he comes on, put it in the question box in the live broadcast we have going. And if you're not logged into the live broadcast, just remind me here, and I'll ask him, and then you can listen to his answer. Okay. All right, we pulled right up to that window. and we backed off. Is that it? I don't know. I do not have crystal balls. But we do know that the step line it's been on the right side of balloon climbing since here, and it's separated even more. So when the step line crosses, it usually crosses in a different fashion. It usually crosses like this, and it gives you a pullback. Step line crosses, you get a pullback to the BBC. But these two just seem to be running together, so perhaps we make it to this resistance, which is the top of that window. Next would be this potential resistance. And then here. And then here, the high of July 27th. But trade what's in front of you. And that's why we use multiple time frames, because it makes it easier to see which side of the street you should be on. That's why I was explaining you put your lines in the sand on your 30-minute chart. All alerts are based on the 30-minute chart. This was another window of opportunity that I drew in during that mentoring session with Tom Friday afternoon. Now this candle here, that was the closing candle. I said, Tom, when the markets open Sunday night, look for a quick drop to fill this window. And then, whatever happens from there, we'll just have to wait and see. And sure enough, it made the drop, filled the window. That window was good for 2 points, I believe. Yep. So we dropped initially, pulled back to the BBC. The pullback holds more often than not, as it did here, here. Then as we started dropping in an attempt to get to the short target, we only got to here. Which is this low put in right here on Friday afternoon. When the market finds support, it's going to go look for resistance. It got above the BBC, pulled back, red and falling, turned to blue and climbing, and off we go. Now, this candle opened at 45, we'll call it 25, 45.25. Ran up to 31. Continued up to 33. It's 12 points. $50 a point. Now, getting out at the exact swing high or exact swing low, there's only one way that happens. By luck or accident. Okay. This candle opened green, and so it looked to all the world like it was headed for the long target, but it was unable to take out that swing high Friday, which basically would have been the target. So there's lots of room to get your go for the day. Pull back to the BBC, the pullback holds. When the market finds support, it will look for resistance, red and falling. Resistance will send it looking for support, the BBC. And then off we go. We overcome red and falling. And we make a run through the target. All the way up. 45.50. Now these are last week's weekly trading zones. Because remember, all the alerts that go out Sunday night are based on last week's zones. Tomorrow, I'll have this week's zones on the charts. And every alert that went out today are based on the current weekly zones. So it made a nice run, but the step line looks like it wants to cross. And when that happens, expect a pull back to the BBC. Michael should be here by now.
I am.
Oh, he
I am
is
here.
That dude's here. All right, guys, we will complete this recap once Michael gives us a recap of what happened in the live training room, and then we'll wrap it up with our good word for the day. Take it away.
All right, here we go. There. All right.
All right, looks good. Yep.
Good. All right, here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Monday, the 20th day of November, 2023. If you have not taken a free trial with us, then go here to mytradingiq.com and click on this button right here. When you click on that button, it's going to bring you to this page, your registration page. Fill out this little form, and then you'll be sent a link to get everything you need to get into the room in the morning. All right. If you have a TradingView, give us a username. If you have an NinjaTrader, give us your machine ID. Fill that all in right there, and we won't have to send you a separate email to get from you. All right. Save us all time. Now, if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you have to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today's the 20th day of November, 2023. Today we made 72 ticks on the NQ. We ended up back to break even on the Russell, break even on crude, and break even on the ES. Actually, minus 10 on the ES. Sorry about that. Put us at plus 235 per contract on the morning session. Today took 15 minutes in one trade to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $1,650 up to a total of 14 trades this morning. So on the month, now we're up $5,110. That's over 14 trading days, averaging $365 per contract per 2-hour trading day. On the year now, we have gone 216 out of 221 days getting our goal, and that puts us at $97,947. That averages out to $443 per contract per morning session. All right. Now, if you were to quit trading when you get your goal for the day and you were to add one contract per month, it means you have to earn your way up to that extra contract every month. So far this year, you would have made you'd only had to work 76.53 hours, 76.5 hours, and you would have averaged $2,476 per day. All right. Per hour. Sorry, not per day, per hour on the day. $2,476 per hour. Let me get that right. Right. Now that's not to say you're gonna sit down and make $2,476 every time you trade. But this month so far we worked about 8.5 hours. And in those 8.5 hours we pulled in $22,467 with 11 contracts on. Okay.
Hey, before I step away for a minute, in the active passport holders discussion group in Telegram, yes, David asked a question, and I thought you would be best to answer.
David V?
It just says David.
Okay, because he texted me 2 questions.
Hi, everyone. I have an account with TradingView, but no subscription yet. What's your opinion, experience with TradingView? I'd like to know if it's worth it. Thank you in advance.
Yep, it is. David V. He texted that to me too.
Oh, okay. All right. Very good. I just want to make sure he got an answer.
Yeah, I'll jump into that in just a minute. Well, I actually want to do it when I start the TradingView.
Okay.
The live stream for TradingView, I'll do it then.
Yeah, because this is Black Friday week.
They'd appreciate it a little more then, I think.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll answer that question then. David, are you in here right now, Dave? David. He's not in here. He was at the seminar I did in Chicago, I think. Yeah, he was at the Chicago one. Might have been at the Kansas City one too. Anyway, the spreadsheet. Oh, I already went over this. All right, I already did that part. So let's get into the trades. Okay. We took one on crude and one on the ES. Provide as far as trades go, and but you can see in here I was drawing trend lines as we were doing. I did cram 2 days worth of lessons into one day today, so tomorrow we can spend extra time on the DOM and all the stuff that I was supposed to do on Thursday that I ended up not doing because Thursday took me so long to get my goal. that is all that we had. One break-even trade on crude. During the break here, it gave a blue arrow right here during the break. That would have been really close to stopping you out. If it wouldn't have stopped me out, it would have. Again, we're on the F contract on that. F like Frank. The Russell, we had a couple of trades. Started out back here. We had actually drag it over, but it's taken forever. There's one. Hang on, still trying. Okay, so this was our first trade of the morning right here on the Russell. We picked up 5 ticks on that one. And then where is it? The next trade that we took. Why is this taking so long? The next trade that we took was right here. We ended up stopping out on that one. You know, I was doing the training all through here, so I ended up missing all those trades. I get this blue arrow right here, which would have given us, you know, probably ticks. Not a ton of opportunity today with the Russell. Okay, break even on it. And go here to the ES. Now we did take a trade on. We stopped out on it. You see, we didn't have that much opportunity here. We only had one blue arrow, and it stopped out. There was one in the pre-market here. That would have worked out okay. To some degree, it would have given you some profit. I don't know if you would have got a full 8 ticks on it, but you would have gotten something. The other ones were during the break to be something, but I wouldn't have taken it on a zone like that. So this was our one trade on the ES, and we stopped out on that one. So far, we're minus 10 on the ES. We're break even on the Russell, break even on crude, and then we get to the end. Now the NQ is where we got our goal for the day on the very first trade. It's back there. Hopefully in a second here. Come on. Get us all the way back there. All right. So I believe this was our first trade right here. We went long on this right here and picked up 30 ticks. That's where we got the goal for the day. The next trade we took was right here. We ended up with a break even on that. This one right here, we had minus 20, so that put us down to 10. And then we got, actually on this one, we got 32 ticks. We had 8 points on this one. We got 42 after that. I missed that right in there. Well, I didn't want to take it because the long-term direction was flat. I took this right here, and that stopped me out to the tick. And we're down to 22 after that. Then we picked up 30 on that one, got us back to 52. Then 12 on that one, got us to 4. And then 4 on that. And didn't do these blue arrows in here because we were training. We did do this one right in the middle of the training. And went from 68 to 72. I think that was the last one we did. Went from 68 to 72, so we got 4 ticks profit on that one as well. That was it. We got into this big no trade zone here at the end. I think it was a pretty good training lesson. I did record it, almost the whole thing. So I tried to get that converted and out onto the appropriate today, hopefully. But that was it. During the break, there was a trade here, but the long-term direction was flat. There was a trade here. I would have taken that. And it just wasn't much happening there with the ES today, right? Lots of no trade zones. Not a whole bunch going on. Oh, that was the NQ. Sorry, that was the NQ. The ES didn't have that much either. All right, so it's 12:56. Goodness, what am I going to talk about now? Well, I can't talk about this. There was a conversion over the weekend with DT Pro. Dwayne probably went over this, but I'm going to go over it again. And what it really affected so far is the live environment. And so the info you need to log into your live DT Pro, if you go to Daniel's Trading, it is the info that you use to log into this portal right here. I know this says Stone. What you used to use to go to danielstrading.com and log into this portal right here, that's the info that you need to log into your live DT Pro account. All right, you got to use the email address and password that you use to get into your portal to get into your live DT Pro account. Okay. The demo account, they seem to be still working on the old information. So, you still log into that the same way, is what I'm told so far. And I don't know what their plan is to run that over to the other side. I don't know if they have one, but that's what they're doing right now. So far, they've only moved over to live. Yes, down here, create your DT Insider. There's right there. So, yeah, I mean, my demo account was working as it always does, using the same info I always use. So I don't I don't need to change anything. Yeah, well, give this a shot. Maybe that'll fix yours. Okay. And whatever you use to log into StoneX account portal, it's the same thing right here, the StoneX account portal. That's what you can use to get into your live account. Okay, because now I think what they want to do is get away from this danielstrading.com page altogether. Probably get away from that, just have the StoneX page, and have you access everything through StoneX. I don't know for sure. We'll get some guidance on that at some point. But as of right now, I know my live account works, the email address and password, and my demo account works the same way it always worked. Okay. Now it is time to get into the live stream. If anybody has any questions, David, I'm going to start the live stream and then I'll get into did they send us one today? I think they did. Here it is. Black Friday starts now. Get a month. All right, I'm going to jump into that. Okay. So here we go. I did hit start stream. Hang on. It's almost there. Seems to be taking longer than normal. Okay, there it is. Now it's like, wow, that took a long time. Okay, so what I wanted to show was this. That happened right now with the trading. If you hit Explore Offers, it should bring you to something here that shows you the different levels of discounts that you're going to be offered here. This is taking forever to what I wanted to point out, if you already have a plan, like let's say you're already on an annual plan or something like that. See, if you want to switch to this, if you're on an annual plan already and you want to go to the discounted annual plan, sign up for the whole year of this, and then they'll give you credit for the plan, whatever you have left in you. Like when I signed up for the premium, when they did this a month ago, I signed up for the premium and we were already signed up. So I had built-in credit for the premium plan that I had before at the regular rate. And when I signed up for the premium plan at the discounted all that I had left onto my new plan. So I had like 400 days is what it says. It'll tell you how many days you have left. And so I had 400, in my plan once I signed up. It's the same thing if you do the essential and the plus or whatever. Last year they did it a little differently. Last year, discounted rate, but this year they're doing 70, 40, 30. But it's a great deal. If you're gonna be using them for a whole year anyway, use them. And then do it. I don't know if they're gonna give you the discount if you upgrade, but offer this discount every now and then throughout the year. But I would at least sign up for the essential. Just my thought, right? So, David, you had texted me and you put something out in the Telegram channel. So yeah, the thing, I got it up and running, and TV's running a Black Friday sale. Yeah, it is worth it. Definitely worth doing it. % off for the premium. You don't need to have premium unless you're going to be doing live streams like this one right here that I'm doing right now. Being code, you don't need to developing code that you're going to distribute. You don't need to do the premium. Okay, you can do the essential or the plus. Depends how many charts you want to have. The plus will get up to 4 charts. The essential will get up to 2 charts. You get more lists, you get more charts available to you. But we have the premium. That's what works for us. Okay. All right. It is worth it, in my opinion. Worth getting that discount. I would take advantage of that anytime I could, if I were you guys. All right. So let's get into the actual trading. This morning we got the goal for the day pretty early this morning. I guess I didn't type in what is the goal for the day this morning. Shalitha, are you out there? She might have done it. But we did get the goal for the day on the first trade this morning. It was on the NQ, and with 11 contracts, we're up 6 after 15 minutes in one trade. The days up until right now, the day has been pretty flat after the morning, the first half hour or so. Lots of no trade zones. So right here where we are, what we're waiting for is the NQ. We're already oversold. We haven't hit the ribbon yet since the trend change. Yes, the ribbon zone, we're overbought right now, so we need that to close down probably. Right here, it's looking long right here, so that needs to pull back and hit the ribbon. And on crude, the last arrows right here, last green arrows are right here. That needs to put in a higher swing before we trade in that direction again. This over here on the NQ, we just went from the overbought to the oversold, and we're not ribbon yet, so we don't have a trade there yet. Okay, not quite yet. I don't know if David heard my response. Remind me later on this thing. I don't get rid of it. Hang on. Well, let me hit win. All right. Having trouble getting to my DOMs. Hang on a second. My computer seems to be hanging up a little bit right here. Close that window if I can. And well, we want to see this pull back down here and hit the ribbon. We want to see this pull back down and hit the ribbon. We're dealing with direction changes everywhere but the ES, so we have to have some ribbon touch in there. And you guys are gonna have to hang out for a second when I do this. And that, all right, it should still be active. Because I am having trouble with the one move. They're taking up a whole other screen. So right now we don't really have a higher swing here on the crude, so we're not gonna have a trade. We're in a no trade zone anyway. Over here on the NQ, we do have a higher swing. This, let me kill it. Okay. And I also killed Ninja Trader. All right, that on anyway, so now I can place trades. We need this to pull back down and test the ribbon right here. And let me close this slowly little thing too. We just don't have any trades. I'm gonna go here and look at something else. Does anybody want to see anything else? I don't. I'm just looking in here to see if, no, okay. So today, let's just take a look at that and see what it's doing. All right, this is on every bar is 50 cents. And so far today, it's given a long trade here that went about a buck here that would have stopped yet. Here that went about a buck. And well, that's it. That's it. That's all it's really given today. And that goes into Friday, I believe, right there. So not a lot. Something else is hogging up a bunch of resources here right now, and I don't know what it is. Oh, now I do. I gotta see what's running in there though. Okay, oh, that is this. Everything that's running in here is what's hogging up the resources. So let me close it. Okay, I'm gonna pin the one thing. All right, so we don't really have anything happening here with Tesla that you can do. The NQ kept moving up. It didn't pull back and hit the ribbon. We didn't have a trade there. The ES, we need that to pull back and test the ribbon here. It hasn't done that. The Russell, we need the same thing there. We have a direction change. So we need, this doesn't actually have to test the ribbon because it wasn't a direction change, but this does. This needed to put in a higher swing and it didn't. So we don't have anything here. That's why we're in a no trade zone right there. Okay. These apps and what's taking up the most CPU and memory right now is this browser right here. But I'll deal with that in a minute. Pull back what we're looking for. All right, it's 110 so far. Does anybody have any questions? Anybody anywhere? Oops. Hey, that was from this morning. That was from the lesson plan this morning. Pretty good stuff, huh? We did a trade here, a comparison between DT Pro, that's what this is, and trading, that's what this is. And the things you use to make decisions in TradingView compared to the things you use to make decisions in DT Pro. You know, and this is also Ninja Trader, stuff that we use the decade before we started using TradingView in the room. Now we've got a low here of 13.4. So if you add 8 to that, you're getting 14.2 right now. 4.2. Okay. And on the NQ, we need that to pull back down into here, test the ribbon, perhaps. And Russell, we need the up close here. I'm sorry, I didn't bring that over and show it to you. Here's the buy stop limit order on that Russell, right? 13.4. The last trade we took this morning was on the Russell and we ended up stopping out. It was right back there a little ways. We got the blue arrow on this one and it should trigger us in right here. I'm going to try to go one tick better and just give me 2. Okay, that's what I get. Anyway, it should make it up to a new high of the day right now. That's what it should do. Right up here, I just saw it right there. Is the number that should get up to. I'm going to throw it right now. It should not prompt me for this, but it did anyway. Tuck, there it goes. Right. So what you should see is price get up to this level right now. Prior swing high, 15.8, 15.6. So the prior swing high and the high of the day is right up there. I'm looking for more numbers on the upside. So we're in this Russell trade right up above this level. Hey, Dwayne. Look, I found the high of the day thing. I forgot that I had done that. The high of the day and low of the day thing. I totally forgot I had done that. That's what this is showing right here. The high of the day on the Russell and the high of the day. I had forgotten and then I think I built it into the context. Is the high of the day? Is that the high of the day on the yes? It is. So I had done that in the context, I think. I don't remember if I made it a switch in there, so it's on automatically. Anyway, now we're waiting right now. Okay, let me see if I did make that part of the context. Yeah, it's part of the context. Okay. The high of the day is right there. They have the midpoint between the zones, but I don't know. This is not the high of the day. Okay. I did the high of the day thing too. Anyway, if anybody's got any questions, just type them in to whatever room you're in. If you want to see any symbols other than what we're showing right here, just let me know what you want to see, and I'll be happy to jump over to it and cover it for you. Okay. So we're testing the ribbon right here now on the NQ. We need an up close now on the NQ that we've tested the ribbon. We get an up close on this, pops out of the oversold with this low right now. It's going to give us a blue arrow, trade, our highest probability trade. Okay, it's got a low here, 175. So you'd be buying 575 right now. 575, like this, like that. Okay. So I can put this order on ahead of time is because these are range bars. And if I know where the bottom is, I know where the top is going to be. The top is going to be, the top is going to be almost 4 points above the bottom. I know when my buy stops to be 4 points above the bottom. All right. This, and I do this right here. And now I look at this. I got to bring my down back up. Hang on, give me a second. NQ, here it is. Okay, click that. So now the low on this bar, I want the object stuff. Data window. Come on. So the low on this bar is obviously changing. This is going to end up not being a trade right here. But what I was looking for was the low on the bar. You just have to add 4 to that with the NQ. It's 4 points above the low of the bar. This is ending up to be no trade though. Over here on the ES right now, we're starting to pull back. We test the ribbon. Over here on the crude, we did pull back and tested the ribbon, and we can go with what we have there because it hasn't gone 4 ticks into thing. Yeah, it's gone 4 ticks into profit. It is approaching the high of the day. It's looking like it probably does want to move up. Here on anyway from where we are. This should run up probably to right there. It's 70.45. So it needs to go up 1 tick to 36 to bump the stop to break even. And we're almost there. Almost there. There it goes. Okay, so now we can bump that stop to break even. I don't know why it's making me do that on crude oil today, but it is. We ended up not getting a trade over here on the NQ. We ended up having a break even on this trade. And now we're waiting on the crude. Right, this is actually showing a little better up there. Does anybody have any questions? Anybody? If you have any questions, just let me know. Just type them in. If you want to see any other symbols, just tell me what you want to see. It can be stocks, ETFs, anything you want to see. I'm happy to go show you. Look at that number. It's going even further. It's 850. What are the going to get up to that? Well, to make that assessment, what you need to do is look at the leg lengths. And have they been meandering leg lengths like this and this and this? There's a good chance that it's not going to make it up to there without, that spot that I said is right. I'll line on it for you. 78.50. This is where it's trying to get up to right now. Okay. And going by the leg lengths, it should probably get up there. All right. If we do this trend line, go from there up to right there. Okay. That's our leg length. So if we take that leg length and that puts us a little above that number right now. Right. The problem is the way that it's been carrying out that leg length today. Lots of sideways action. Up. And forever. We're see, it's doing it. Do we get it done? So I'll put it back over here. And that is in tomorrow's let's say. So here's the triggered. And 78.50 is what the DOM is saying it's going to go up to. All right. Tomorrow's lesson plan covers leg lengths and the 2 different slingshots with a different charting platform. I'm going to block in just one tick on this, so I have a positive trade. The other slingshot looks like this. I'll show you. This is what it looks like. Okay, it's more things, all this stuff, we built it all in up TradingView. I think I did a pretty good lesson on how all that was put together and why it's all put together today. Or one of our guys asked me to go over it again in more detail today after I went over it pretty quickly the first time. And so I did, and I was able to do it in more detail a little better, I think. It was a little more descriptive on this because I'd be a fool not to. But we should make it all the way up here, right? To 78.50 is what that should do. 2 lines in this slingshot. We're going to cover this in the lesson plan tomorrow. So if you have not taken the trial with us, I should probably say that. If you haven't taken the trial with us and you like what you see, then go here to mytradingiq.com, click on this right here and sign up for the free trial right there. When you sign up for that trial, you'll be sent to this registration page. Just put in the information. In here, we ask for your TradingView username or login ID right here. Give us that so we can enable your indicators right away. We had people that signed up this morning after this morning's session for the trial, and I was able to enable their indicators right away. We'll do that. All right, so we're going to end up with fun on this crude trade. This is where it's trying to get up to. Right here is what we like length is. It's just the market's really been going on right now. Impact news coming Friday. I don't really remember if we have anything else tomorrow, right? Tomorrow, Canadian stuff. We have existing home sales at 10. FOMC meeting minutes tomorrow afternoon. That could be a big deal tomorrow afternoon, guys. Then on Wednesday, we do have some high impact stuff coming out in the morning, all right? Yeah. We have high impact stuff coming out in the morning. Then Thursday we're off. Friday we're going to be off too, but on Friday there's still some high impact flash manufacturing stuff coming out at 9:45. Now, keep in mind Friday morning this 9:45 stuff that's released early, so the market will probably start to see it around 9:43, 9:43. Okay. Yeah. So today we really have nothing. Let's go to tomorrow. I believe it is, yeah. I mean, we have stuff. Yeah, Yep. Yes. That's what I'm banking on. All right. Asking any questions? So we had this one trade over here on the crude, which we took a little profit on, 5 ticks actually. It was $550 that I made right there on that. So it was a significant amount of profit considering it took me about 10 minutes to do it. Break even there, and did we take? I don't remember. Just going sideways here with Tesla. You want to look at some other symbol? Maybe look at another symbol. Let's look at Apple. Okay, so today, this is right here. I had one black arrow this morning. Let's look at Google. All right. Google had a gap down this morning. Actually, that was Friday. This morning I had a gap, and turned upward. Going on with that, but that's what Google has going on. Does anybody want to see any of the symbols? Does anybody have any visualization already? All right. So right now, here into the ribbon. I'm sorry, into the ribbon. We want it to get up and put in a higher swing. We want it to get up to here. This is where we had our target, up here at 78.50. Okay, we got out with 5 ticks. We're on the Russell right now. The long direction is flat, and you're in a no trade zone, so there's nothing there. Same thing with the NQ. Actually have a trade, but it's got to pull back down and actually hit the ribbon to give us that trade. Done that yet? Right, I saw that target on there on the crude. I better take that off now. It doesn't have any other targets beyond that level. And Dwayne, I don't know if you heard me, but I did make some progress with the high of the day, low of the day thing. I thought I had built it into the context, but apparently I did not. It's not as easy as you would think it should be. I just want you would think, but it's not. You would think they'd have some. It's that simple thing you can just say, here it is, plot this line. All right, so I'm going to go back to just 4 things here because nobody's asking any questions about anything other than futures. So I'm just going to deal with futures. Actually, nobody's asking any questions about anything. I am just going to choose to deal with futures. And we only have 5 minutes left anyway, so 4 minutes now. We're starting to get to push up a little bit further. So waiting for this, we'll just go over the results today. We didn't have a lot of market movement today, but we were up 72 ticks on the NQ. We ended up break even on the Russell. We were up, then we're back to break even. The crude, we were breaking all day. The ES, we had 1 trade and we stopped out. So we were plus 235 on the morning session. Though it only took 15 minutes in 1 trade to get the goal for the day. And with 11 contracts at that point, we're up $1,650. So 15 minutes in 1 trade, $1,650. On the month now, we're at 5,110. And on the year, we're at 97,947 so far with 1 contract. Right? That's really where you want to be. If you were to quit trading when you get your goal for the day, the goal being $100 per contract, or $100 in profit per contract. I'm sorry, $100 gross per contract. So far this year, we've only had to work 76.5 hours. And you would have averaged $2,476 for those 76.5 hours, right? So far this month, in the month of November, getting our goal for the day, quitting after we get the goal for the day, we had to work about 8.5 hours, and half of that time, it's that day and that day right there. So 8.5 hours, and in those 8.5 hours, we earned $22,467 with 11 contracts in the room this morning. I mean, this month. That is quitting when we get the goal for the day. All right, now we continued on, so we ended up making, we're at 56,210 right now in the room. But if you were to quit when you get your goal for the day, then that's what you would have had. Okay. And so you might ask, well, why would I quit when I get the goal for the day if I would have made that much more if I kept trading? I can do that once you've been 5 years. And, you've got years under your belt of successful after week, month after month. Beginning, if you have a few trades in a row that stop you out or bring you down, then it's a psychological battle that you have to get through. And once you've worked your way through that, you can trade as long as you want. And I don't see why there's no real thrill in trading. You get, well, for me anyway, it's a job. I get in there and do my, and then I go do other stuff. And in that case, most of the time in my life, it's helping other people. Okay, on the NQ right now, we need that to pull back down, and we are oversold. So we could have a black arrow here if we get an up close. It could give us a black arrow, and that would be okay. Going to give us a trade that way. I think we're about to run out of time. The crude oil didn't get all the way up there yet. It's going to hit that number 78.50. It's a matter of time. Remember what I said when looking at that about it meandering? When it moved up a little bit, then it kind of meandered. It kept going up, but it kind of meandered. It wasn't it was a slow grind, is what it's called. Violently sideways. That's it, guys. That's about all I got. I guess I'll pass it back out to Fabulous Phoenix, Arizona Studio A. Again, if you have TradingView.com, click on this button. If you do that, fill out this form. There's no credit card required. Give me your username. If you do that today, you'll have your indicators over the long weekend. Okay, and we'll start everything fresh for you. I mean, you can start fresh tomorrow, but we'll start a whole fresh week for you on Monday. That's Fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, and Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne, if you are ready.
Yeah, I am.
Okay. The stream has ended.
Okay, there we go. Recap of the recap morning session.
Today it took 15 minutes and 1 trade to get to $1,650.
That's a great way to start the week.
It sure was. It was indeed.
Fantastic. Okay, guys, pick up where we left off. We've already done the daily chart. If you missed that, you can always watch recording on our YouTube channel in a couple hours, youtube.com/CFRN. Currently have over 2,300 daily episodes archived there. This is where we opened last night, and I mentioned that when I was in a mentoring session with Tom on Friday, we drew this little window, and I said, Tom, Sunday night, watch for that window to fill. And by golly, it did. Pulled up to the BBC, found resistance, dropped, found support, but we didn't get to the short target. We get above the BBC and go for the day and then some. 45.25. up to 45.34. 5.25. It's really 24.5. I'm just calling it 25. See, because we had it up close here, we would buy the open of the next candle. Then you could just take your 2 points, or you could stay with it if you choose. Ran at 34, so that's 9 points. At $50 a point, $450 per contract traded. Price pulled back to the BBC, pull back across. See, the pullback holds more often than not. Eventually, it will trade through. That keeps the markets fluid and tradable. And it pulls back and it holds, then it trades through again, then it pulls back and it holds, and so forth and so on. And then we got this big push that took us to the target, 45.35. And it's still climbing, 45.58. It's Monday, and we only have, now remember, the old last week's zones are on my chart now. The new zones will be on tomorrow. We only have one zone left overhead on the ES, and it's just Monday. And we've entered that window of opportunity that Tom and I drew Friday afternoon. And I suspect tomorrow, there's turnaround Tuesday, so I think we see a drop. Then comes Wednesday, which, well, number one, the markets typically rally into a U.S. holiday. And Wednesday afternoon, we have the Fed minutes coming out. Then Friday, it's just a half a day, but there's high impact news Friday morning. So it's really all very interesting. But as you can see, was it 51? 50. Right, this was a 20-point window of opportunity here. This is on the daily chart. That's what it looks like on the ES. All right, on the Dow. We opened last night and just ran flat until Wall Street opened, and off we go right up to the target. And we've traded through the swing high of Friday, and it looks like price is trying to make its way to last week's weekly trading zone at 35,300. This week's highest zone on the Dow is at 33,570. Russell. Okay. We opened above the BBC, but we never took out any of the highs from Friday, so you don't want to go long until those highs are taken out. Then we managed to drop below, put a little red and falling. So there's room. Grab a couple points here, go for the day. Then we closed above the BBC. Opened at 1802.90, we'll call it 1803. And we ran up to 1807.80. So really there's about 5 points in that candle. You only need 2 points to get your goal for the day. And we hit the target, pull back, hit it again, pull back, hit it again. So far, high of the session is 1815. So we've still got 2 more of this week's zones overhead. In Q, here's where we opened last night. Consolidated along the weekly zone, 15,861. And we got above the BBC. Leg, opened at 868 and ran to 932. That's about $1,200 per contract traded. Then we pull back to the BBC. The pullback holds more often than not. We ripped through the target. And now we're sitting way up here with a high on the day of 16,076. The highest weekly zone for the NQ this week is 16,160. Now, anytime we hit the highest or lowest weekly zone by Tuesday morning, historically what happens is price ends at the other end of the spectrum by the end of the week. But because of all the things I mentioned, Fed minutes, the holiday, important news, when there's the institutional traders I always speak of, they won't be hanging out Friday morning. Be in the Hamptons or the Bahamas or wherever they go. Okay, so this will be a little bit of an unusual week, but we'll walk you through it. Crude oil. We are now trading our first contract of 2024, GCLF 24. So we opened, this was the opening candle last night. It reached down and touched the BBC to the tick. See how that pullback holds more often than not. Then we get above red and falling. It turns to blue and climbing. This candle opens at 76.38 and runs up almost $300 per contract traded. We pull back to the BBC, the pullback holds, we run to the target again. Pull back to the BBC and run to the target again. Then we had a little consolidation here at last week's zone. Then we had a couple of hours of consolidation at last week's zone. And our high on the session, 78.46. Highest weekly zone, 83.85 this week. So, gold. So we opened last night, dropped till we found support from over here. That turned us around and sent us above the BBC. Now, pull back to the BBC. We had an up close. This candle opened at 85.60 and ran up to 87.80. 85.60 to 87.80. So that's like $200 per contract traded. Then we get below the BBC. On climbing turns to red and falling. We get a nice drop. Okay. And then we put, price rarely travels in a straight line. It's always going to give you a leg and a retracement. Which held. And then another leg, which took you down to last week's zone. And the short target at 73. So even getting in on the open of this candle, call it 78. It's $500 per contract traded to the target. We traded through the target, found support based on stuff back here, and we get above the BBC, leg, retracement, leg, on our way up to the long target. This candle open at 76.20 and ran all the way to 81.5. Let's call it 76 to 81. It's $500 per contract traded. Now, if it keeps climbing, you got potential resistance here, here, at the bearish cross, then here, then here, then here, and finally here. That was a previous bearish cross. Silver. Here's where we open, get a drop, get a retracement. We go sideways, and then we hit the zone overhead, resistance. Pushes us back. When the market finds resistance, going to go look for support. So we get a leg, retracement, a leg. We hit the target. You only need 2 pennies. So, I mean, you literally could have gotten in on the open of this candle, 23.57. That candle is worth $300 per contract traded. Now we've pulled back to the BBC where we've been consolidating for hours. Now we're printing a red candle and we're below the BBC. So if this candle closes, if we take out this low, then there'll be a very nice window of opportunity. Right here. 23.46, 23, call it 42. That's 4 pennies. It's $200 per contract traded. Euro. Here's the open. We dropped, but we didn't get all the way to the BBC. We got a leg up that took us to and through the target. Pull back to the BBC. This time we touched it. It held. Got another leg. Pull back. And here we are up just off the high of the day. That brings us around the world. We're about halfway through that 20-point window. All right. To become a lifetime member with no recurring fees, no upsells, ever. No nonsense, ever. Pay once, member for life, access to everything. Passport is your all-access pass to everything we do, everything we've ever done, whatever we do in the future. To get your passport, go here, eminifuturestrading.com. Couple mouse clicks, member for life. Questions, call 949-42-EMINI or email support@cfrn.net. 9 out of 10 new traders ultimately fail because they have no one to teach them how to do the job. If you want a fighting chance at becoming the 1 out of 10, you better find somebody to teach you how to do the job. That's why we have a 2-hour live training room every trading day. Plus, our members enjoy unlimited one-on-one private mentoring. The strategy you learn, the indicator set you own for life, fluid across all markets, all time frames. Futures, stocks, crypto, forex, ETFs. Maybe you're a scalper, maybe you're a day trader, maybe you're an investor. What we have will work for you. As a passport holder, you'll receive the Logic 247 alerts, the concierge trade alerts, and you'll be able to attend the members only workshop every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you're busy and can't make it Thursday night, well, guess what? We have a channel for that. It's a private channel. Once you become a passport holder, you'll have the keys to unlock the channel. So anytime you miss a Thursday night workshop, watch it later. And last Thursday night was a very good one. So for anyone who is a current member, if you missed last week's workshop, check it out in the channel. Everything a trader needs all under one roof, one low price. True story. Yep. If you think of something that you need that we don't already provide, you let me know. I think we've covered the bases pretty good. Okay, our good word for today. On Friday, we talked about the 2 rules. Today, we're going to talk about not being afraid to go. Go where? Anywhere. Deuteronomy 31, verses 7 and 8. You must go, and the Lord, He is the one who goes before you. When God tells you to go, remind yourself that every detail of your future is already known to Him. Centuries ago, when a map maker ran out of the known world before he ran out of parchment, he would frequently draw a dragon at the edge of the scroll. This was intended as a sign to explorers that they were entering unknown territory at their own risk. Many, however, didn't regard the dragon as a mapmaker's warning sign, but instead as a prophecy. They foresaw disaster beyond the known worlds they traversed, and their fear kept them from pushing on to discover new lands and new peoples. Other, more adventuresome travelers, however, saw the dragon as a sign of opportunity and a doorway to new worlds worth exploring. Each of us has a mental map that contains the information we use for guidance as we begin each day. And like the maps of long ago, our mental maps have edges to them. And sometimes those edges seem to be marked by dragons or fears. We fear failing, or being rejected, or ridiculed, or that we won't have enough, or that we will lose what we have. That's how you feel today. Read these words spoken by God to His people when they stood on the threshold of the promised land without knowing what awaited them when they went into it. Remember, the Lord, He is the one who goes before you. Deuteronomy 31:8. So write down your goal, map out a strategy, and set a deadline. Then commit it to God, believing that He has gone before you to prepare the way. That, my friends, is our good word for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.